Hola, muy buenas tardes. Bienvenidos a un evento virtual muy especial por parte de Global Chamber Guanajuato, donde tenemos algunos de los ponentes muy interesantes el día de hoy que nos van a hablar sobre las estrategias que están implementando ellos en sus negocios, innovación, porque también estamos celebrando la Semana de Innovación. And this event is going to be in English for the ones who are interested in these companies from Guanajuato that are focusing on the innovation and strategies that are implemented this year. First of all, we have the welcome. I have to welcome Rick Parada. Welcome, Rick. I have to welcome Paola Calderon. Hi, Paola. How are you? Veronica Cardona and Marta Martinez. These companies are going to be our speakers for this event. And we are going to have a session for question and answers at the end. So please, this event is going to be recorded. And please, if you miss it, please check it again. We're going to provide the link at the end. We're going to start with Rick. Rick, please tell us how you doing.
Hi, how are you guys? Hopefully everyone is having a good time. As we speak, I'm in Phoenix, so the sun is like killing me. But thank you once again for having me. It is my pleasure.
Can you please tell us about your company? What's going on with Ekatar? Because I heard that you guys are having a huge success right now with a golf tournament. Can you tell us a little bit about your strategies that you are implementing?
Yeah, sure. So we are a full service marketing agency. That means that we do both offline and digital services. And well, as we speak, as I told you before, I'm here in Phoenix, moving from one meeting to another. And well, the strategy that we are trying to implement with the clients in Mexico and Latin America and here in the US are to try to be a step ahead in the things that they need in terms of digital or offline. As you mentioned, yesterday we were sponsoring a golf tournament for the Consulado de Mexico here in Phoenix. And it was a great event because we got to meet other sponsors, companies who are trying to reach out to the Hispanic and also the American market. So it's part of the things that we are trying to come up, and well, as well, we're moving for some other strategies in terms of digital. Digital, it's evolving as we speak. I don't know, guys, if you're familiar with the metaverse and Web3 and NFTs. Part of the things that we're doing here in the US is to come up with new conferences. So yesterday I was at this university that it's called Thunderbird School of Global Management. That's a place where I studied my global MBA like 10 years ago. So I had the pleasure to be also with them and to share about knowledge in terms of what are NFTs, what's the future with all this digital trend that it's shaping the new internet and the new web. And well, for me, that's something that I'm really like enjoying, like trying to be one step ahead, because marketing is evolving. It's not only about social media and advertisement, but it's also to look into the future and understand how these new trends are shaping our scope of work. So I was yesterday with Thunderbird. The day before I was at the Chandler Innovation Center, also speaking about Web3. So this is part of everything that we have been trying to implement here in the US. And soon in Mexico, I will be speaking about digital marketing. Next Monday, I was invited to participate by giving a workshop for women who wants to enter this business and to create a new brand and to launch it into our Mexican world and country. So that's part of the things that we are doing, like sharing knowledge, help out other people to increase, obviously, their companies. and well, try to obviously foster a better relationship with our current clients by doing other stuff and to reaching out to other territories. And I believe that's a good differentiator at the end for the agency.
Okay, that's perfect. But can you be more specific on what you do for other companies? What are you doing right now?
Well, it depends upon the things that each brand wants. For example, here in the US, there is a group of pilots who wants to come up with a new school so that you can learn how to fly. So, for example, for them, they used to have a website and they used to have this brand identity. So, taking into the analysis and the benchmark of the competitors, we realized that they needed to update everything. So we helped them out by updating their brand identity and then come up with a new customer experience through their websites. So, for example, that's one of the things that we are currently doing. So most of our clients, especially the new ones, they want to understand what digital marketing is. So what we are doing is like giving them a workshop in terms of whatever they need. If they need to understand better Facebook and Instagram strategies, then we come up with a workshop that talks about this so that they can understand what we're talking about when anyone is talking about CTR, for example, or CPA or CPM in terms of digital advertisement. So that's something that I believe it's also, once again, goes with the values of the agency, which is like bring value and knowledge to our clients. Other accounts, maybe what they need is another kind of strategy. For example, we also work with trek bikes in Mexico. We're about to launch a challenge through social media and an app that it's called Strava to increase followers in both places. So what we are creating for them, it's this advertising campaign. That advertising campaign that it's now approved will go live through Facebook and Instagram, obviously through advertising. So they are paying for the ad campaign that will show up. And through social media, through their main social channels, what we are creating is the content so that people can get to know what this new challenge. This is the first challenge for this company in Mexico. So it's a challenge as well, because most of the challenges that are done by Trek are like globally. So we're releasing Trek Challenge Mexico edition. So we'll get to see how it comes up. And at the end, it's about a strategy that it's related with an advertising campaign, social media campaign, influencers, ambassadors, and advertising money that we will be optimizing so that we can increase the scope of the challenge and at the end, the amount of people who are following the brand through social media and through this specific app, Strava. So I just gave you an example what we do with new businesses, and we can do also for these transnational companies that we work for, Mexico, Latin America, and also here in the US.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Rick. Stay tuned because we may have some questions at the end.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much.
We're now gonna give a welcome to Paola Calderon. Paola, how are you? You're mute.
I was muted, sorry. Yeah, I'm doing good, thank you. And I'm gonna share a presentation with you so you have a visual help of what we do with Sivoz. Would I start?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I am part of an international company that's called Sivoz. I am the right hand of the CEO, and I'm in charge of new projects. So going international is quite a thing when it's about technology, because it seems a little easy, but it's all about understanding the customer. And we have been into innovation the whole time because CI is all about creating new models and software and services to improve whatever thing it is. So in Sivoz, we connect intelligence, order, and growth into developing a software solution. And these softwares that we have done, they are into collecting all the data, using the information, translated into analysis, and that is very helpful to make the right decision and to have better results with the productivity needed or more productivity. We have an ecosystem that is based on the customer. It's customer centricity. And this CRM involves different areas of the company. We are into markets that have more than 3,000 customers because they need to collect big data. They also have to be a company that manage a financial processing type, like giving credit or selling into different types of sales. So we talk about in the CRM into sales because we can manage customers, but also manage the financial loans that the company gives to their customers. That is the debt collection area, and it's we have software for that, which can be connected to the sales one. And we have developed customer care methodologies that they understand and try. They're focused on customer loyalty. So these methods are the ones that give the added value to the software. Anyone can use any software, and it will be a productivity decision to improve their use of the time. But if it's not involved with processes and methodologies, it has no added value. And we also have bots that are into supercall.mx to reach better with the customers and have an omni-channel strategy. And this all can be used on web or on the cell phone. This ecosystem has been developed and grown and matured during the 15 years that the company has been up. But these softwares were developed before. We have only matured them and make them more useful to the company. But let me tell you more about the international growth process that we've taken on. This is a few steps, kind of like a list on how we have gone into having an international growth. First of all, we have to understand the nature of the company and analyze from them the expansion possibilities. We had to come up with a deep thought of how products and services are offered and what we want to take into the international market. We also have had to study them and develop a vision on the new desired market. The vision is very important because that will tell us what are the opportunities that we want to hop on, that we want to help the companies do what. So we had to do a business plan to determine what were the objectives and the goals that we wanted to reach, but also what were the gaps that we had to train ourselves and our company into. And we have found alleys like Global Chamber to grow internationally. That's a big part of this because you cannot go on yourself. It's not trustable, it's not safe, it's very risky, and you have big possibilities to not find what you're looking for. But after that, we have done a marketing research, and that's helping us to be more specific on the business strategic plan and make more reachable goals, more reachable objectives that are ground-based, you know. And then we start the campaign to contact the new potential customers. We have done this for the U.S. market. We go into the financial sector. So this is what we have taken us to reach international. We have worked with other countries, though, not the US, but since 2011, we have done international projects in Ecuador, in El Salvador, Guatemala, Costa Rica. We had a consulting service in Puerto Rico, and we gave services in Colombia. So we have now found out that it's not the culture, it's the culture, it's not the language, what makes the difference. That's what has made us have successful projects. It's very important to understand what the people value, how do they talk, what's the meaning of different words, and most important, to understand what they're based on, which is the culture. Well, preparing the company to launch globally, we have done a few contests. We have an ISO certification, which is 27,000. That is the Security Information Management ISO. And that's very helpful for when we introduce ourselves into the US market. But also in Mexico, it has been helpful, the award that we won in 2014, which is the software platform that we had developed before, won this award because it was innovative and very highly, had very highly profits. And recently, we won an award from Global Chamber, which we're very proud of, for our efforts to export to Texas. And that has been an inspiration to us because we are still working on going globally. This is the newest innovation of us. We have a solution, a social fintech solution, and which goal is to create a friendly user platform that will help individuals collect fundraising for the causes in order to make the world a better place. It sounds very romantic, but the purpose of this is to collect all the remittances that come from the US into this app. And this app can also have social projects from where the remittances are going to, which can be supported by this money. So this is something that we're working on right now. It's a very productive project that we have, and we have big hopes that this will be completed soon and launched. So this is Sivoz. We are a software company that has grown bigger into more services and consultancy company, and we're going into fintech.
Wow. We are definitely waiting to hear more about fintech because it sounds like a very ambitious project.
It is. Thank you. That's true. And we will be happy if someone wants to reach out and contact us for any of the solutions or the fintech that wants to hear more about.
So anybody who is looking for growth on software development, please keep in mind Sivoz, and keep in mind this app that it's directed for fundraising. If you want to raise some money for a cause, I'm sure they can help you. This is a great strategy. Thank you, Paola, once again.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna go to our next speaker. Our next speaker is Veronica Cardiel. How are you, Veronica?
Doing well, thank you. How are y'all?
Welcome to your first presentation in Global Chamber. Are you nervous?
A little bit, yes.
Don't worry. Do you have a presentation you would like to share?
I do. Let me pull it up. Sorry, I'm struggling to pull. Okay, here it is.
Don't worry, don't worry. Veronica has a really interesting company that she's working. She's the head of the company. She started this company. She's from Leon, but she lives in Texas. Well, she goes back and forth. And we would really like to learn more about what she does.
It's not opening up for me, but I'm going to share the screen anyway.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, let's see. Are y'all able to pull it up on your end? Here it goes. Here it goes. Here it goes.
Okay.
I'm not able to get the other view. Lost it again.
Oh, there you go.
Here it goes.
Okay.
So my name is Veronica Cardona. I started La Chingona Coffee Company. The name might sound a little bit funny, but this is how it started. It's not gonna let me show the whole thing. I'm an immigration social worker here in San Antonio, Texas. And when I live in Guanajuato, I work on the train tracks in Irapuato. But here in San Antonio, this young man in blue, I don't know if y'all can see it. This young man in blue was hit by a car and he received the best care here with the military in San Antonio, but decided that he didn't want to stay. And so I helped him self-deport, offering medical support back to Guatemala. And this is his sister. I got to know the family really well, and they live in a really nice region called, a nice area called Solola. And so one of the neighboring towns is Panajachel, and Lake Atitlan. And the area is known for some of the best coffee because of the high altitude and the volcanic soil. Here's some of the coffee. And it actually started because I'm a big coffee drinker, but I had a cup of this. I bought a bag back with me to San Antonio. I ran out of coffee and I went to go get in line somewhere. I'm not going to say where. And while I was in line, there was a big picture painting on the outside mural. And it was of a Guatemalan man picking coffee. And I thought, I'm in love with bad coffee because it doesn't taste as good as what I've had in Guatemala when I've been doing social work there. So then I started La Chingona, and I started to implement a lot of things from Guanajuato, the artisans in that area, maybe not original to the area, but at the feria and things like that. And so I've done pretty good with purchasing the products and then sending them out into like a subscription box. And the reason that I named it the La Chingona is because this is my grandmother, Maria. She came from Mexico as a child. That's her there when she came from the US. And it was on a promise to give her a better education. But in fact, she ended up being a domestic worker at a young age. The family that she came with they put her in elementary school, but like any other child, she would go play after school. And so they told her if she did it one more time, they were going to take her out of school. And so they punished her for being a little girl and going to play after school with her friends. And she ended up being a domestic worker her whole life. I think one of the families that she worked for, they have a bridge. It was like a very prestigious family. They have a bridge named after them. And later on, something not, really frowned upon, and back in the day was taboo, is that she divorced her husband, and on the wages of a domestic worker raised 7 of the strongest women that I know. So I named it in her honor, and I'm kind of today we sponsored something called the longest, it was the longest yard or something like that in a golf tournament. And we're just now as far as innovation, just starting to get on Instagram and Facebook and stuff. But if you don't have the support of like the other companies that just went before, it's really slow, because you need to know all of the vernacular and the search engine optimization and all that other stuff. So working on that a little bit more. And the next thing that I plan on doing is, this is just kind of like a novelty brand, but the next thing that I want to do, I already have the logo and the LLC started, is it's called Lago Vista Coffee and Trading. And I'll definitely be working more with people in Guanajuato to start that brand up and get the artisan seal from Guanajuato soon. And that's my story.
Okay, so you're focusing only on coffee right now?
Yes.
Is that okay? So what are you looking for, Veronica?
I'm looking for small items that I could sell alongside coffee. Like I especially like the Talavera in Dolores Hidalgo, and some of the woven basket products and stuff like that. I'm sure that there will be more eventually, but those are some of the things that I've been going to other towns around Guanajuato to find and add to my subscriptions.
Okay, and how are you expanding? What strategies are you implementing for expanding your business in Texas?
Yes. Yeah, yesterday I just launched the website. It took me a long time. I think that's one of the scariest things, because I have another schedule, but I'm really serious about this. So that, and then an antique shop reached out to me, and I've been selling really well there, just taking up space on their shelves and reaching out to other companies and stuff like that. Starting small, but I know that social media is the way to go, and these networking opportunities that I'm thankful for.
We're definitely going to be doing a lot more of this right now that everything seems to be coming back to normal as far as the pandemic goes, and because it affected everyone. The pandemic was a really bad thing for everyone. So we're gonna stay tuned, and we're gonna have some questions for you at the end.
Thank you.
Thank you, Veronica. It was a pleasure to have you. Let's go next to the next speaker, next and last for this event. And the name is Marta Martinez. Marta Martinez is also from León, Guanajuato, and she is into real estate. And she's going to have a guest providing the information in English. Can you introduce yourself?
Thank you so much for that introduction. Well, yeah, I'm from myself with the CEO of Bajio Investments here, Marta Martinez. Myself is Maya Mendoza. I'm going to be the translator here right now, and I'm going to give you all the information about this company, okay? Awesome. So we're going to share our screen right now.
So people interested in real estate, please stay tuned because she has some great opportunities.
So I want to know if you see on your whole screen the presentation. Are you able to see it?
Yes, we see it. We see it. What was your name again?
Oh, my name is Maya, M-A-Y-A. Yes, that's my name.
Thank you. Yeah, and Marta. Thank you. Yeah, we can see the presentation.
Awesome, wonderful. Okay, so Capital Bajio MX, I'm going to give you a brief introduction to this company. Within 12 years of experience in the financial sector, Capital Bajio MX was from providing patrimonial and investment solution to Mexican families. That's one of our main goals. Approaching companies, we offer training and advice to improve their financial future. Okay, so in one part of our services, we have the patrimony. As you can see, we highlight the procedure and pension increase because that's one of our main services. We focus a lot on the procedure and the pension, because we want to avoid the third-party people messing with the process of having the access on your pension. So we want to make the process as easier as you can have it, so you can have access to your pension as easy as you can do it, okay? We have also private pension plans, retirement insurance, voluntary savings, and pensioners credit. Okay, just some of our service in the patrimony. Real estate, that's our main thing. We have bank auctions, sale, rent, transfer, real estate services, mortgage credits, but I want to focus a little bit more on bank auctions, okay? So, acquisition of real estate of 40% less than in commercial, okay? Direct payment to the bank, one-day processing, and we manage until the signing of the session at the notary. So what we need to do more, as you can see on the two screens that we just show up, is that we want to make the process easier for our customers. We know that here in Mexico, sometimes they send you to one office to do one paper, then to another office, and it takes days and days and days to do and finish all the process, like all the legal process that you want to do. But we're focusing here on the real statement. So our main focus is to do it as easier as it can be for our customers, okay? Differentiator. So service focus on maximum tax benefit and equity, increase, train and advise in the workplace, and certified professional, okay? We have solicitation of Bureau of Credit. That's one of the additional services. We know that a lot of people feel a little bit insecure about when they are able to buy properties because of the financial situation, or they are like, they don't know the state or how they are on that side. So we want to give you that assistance so they can be aware and they have the knowledge so they can continue with the process easily, okay? Other of the additional services, this one it's included in all of the services that we provide. If it's necessary, we give juridical services in this testamentary sections, search of properties, industrial insurance, powers of attorney, anything that the customer need and the juridical service, we can provide it also. And the customer can feel comfortable that they are protected because of protection that we provide to them. So regarding today that we're celebrating today, and the reason why we are here right now, April 21st, as a World Day of Creativity and Innovation. And it's not a coincidence that today in the state of Guanajuato, where we are living right now, the Mind Factory Day is commemorated, established by the governor of the state of Guanajuato, Diego Rodriguez Vallejo. It's a concept that was created by the Spaniard Juan Jose Goñi Zavala, a specialist consultant in innovation, where he refers to the change of productive model of a company innovating in the intangibles of work and the company itself. So the Mind Factor, the one that we have celebrating here on Guanajuato, one does not think much about which person will be chosen for a position, but rather what we could be done in the organization to adapt the position to the person, not the person to the position, okay? Under this concept, Capital Bajio MX joins innovation by participating in incubation and development programs in the Valley of Mind Factor. Excellent. So our actions: digital transformation in our services, business community SMEs, strategic allies, training and development. So this is our contact. You can take a picture of it. We're going to be glad that you did. And we're going to give you a little bit of information about what is our main goal. So we want to be the bridge. We want to be the connection for the people that lives in USA and has family here, and specifically in the state of Guanajuato. So what happens a lot of people goes to work on USA, and they earn money, they send money to the family, but the family doesn't know what to do with that amount of money. They want to invest in a better house, they want to do savings, they want to have credits, but they don't have the knowledge on how to manage this money or this information. And they easily fail or fall in scams, catfishing, this kind of bad people that tries to keep that money. So we want to be that protection. We want to be the shield of that people. We want to give this assistance and guidance completely for free. And of course, if we can provide our services and sell them, that's awesome. But we're going to provide this not just the money about the properties. We have a lot of people the house and they want to sell it and like, oh, my brother is, so don't worry about it, we got your back. Okay, we're going to be that protection for you and for your family. That's one of our main goals. Of course, we have a lot of more services that we can provide to you and we can give you assistance of, but the main focus is to be that bridge and that connection so you can feel safe about your goods and about your money. Okay. Well, thank you so much. We did very quickly, very fast. I know that the time is reaching out of us, but if you have any question about this, we're going to be very glad to provide you any information.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so far we have very interesting information, and I would like to go back to Rick Parada. And Rick, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
How or what would you recommend or suggest for a company that wants to be involved in like the same event that you are involved with the golf situation? How can somebody do that? Because it sounds very easy. You know, I am a sponsor from the Mexican Consul in this golf tournament. Sounds like, oh, easily done. Is it that easy?
It's complicated, but at the end, I believe like most of the consulados de Mexico here in the US are trying to connect businesses and to help out Mexican owners to obviously increase the relationship between each one another. So this fundraising was to help out the Hispanic community, and I believe that's a great initiative. But if you have like share like the same values, and I believe that's what makes this kind of initiatives like a really good incentive for any brand. So I believe that at the end it depends upon the opportunities that you can get to, and I believe like sometimes as entrepreneurs we don't like to, I don't know, maybe it's not on the business side to reach out and to partner up. What we do the most is to try to partner up with our clients. And well, we partnered up with Consulado de Mexico to create the branding and naming of this great event. And from that point on, that's a way to increase the business, right?
Is this something you can also do for other companies? Can you help them with this kind of marketing also as well?
Yeah, sure. It is a good way to get the ball rolling. So if you guys are looking to create a fundraising or an event, we can help out. We're glad to help out.
Okay. Thank you, Rick. It's great to having you.
Thank you.
Is Paola Calderon available? I think Paula might be gone.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Hello, Paula. So we saw in your presentation that you focus on an analysis of a company, and then you take a look at the needs and the objectives of the company. Do you have any success story you would like to share?
We have a successful trip a couple years back before the pandemic. Well, it was 3 years back, I'm sorry, when we went to Texas and we did all the connections through Global Chamber alleys. And most of them were from Global Chamber. And it was a very helpful alley to detect all the necessities and requirements the potential customers that we have up there needed. So that's one of the story. And another story is how we have done big connections with Arizona to develop this fintech platform, which is very helpful for us because they are close to the market that we're going to. Even though we are in Leon, it doesn't matter. There are no boundaries for developing this application. So those are a couple of successful stories.
Okay. Well, thank you. And if you guys are thinking on using software development services or call center services, Paola, Calderon, and Sivoz are available. You can make the contact through Global Chamber.
Yes, I'm gonna leave the web page and my phone number and email to reach me.
Please, at this point, if you write or type your contact information on the chat so everybody can have the information, please start to do so. And right now we have Veronica Cardona. Is there a specific product that are needed or that you are focusing on to expand your business? Because I saw that you have different, you're looking for little bags, for coffee cups. Are you looking for what other typical Mexican products are you looking for? In case someone here might have a good provider for you.
The cinnamon sticks, sugar like the piloncillo, leather goods, and jewelry and Talavera items.
Are you doing these sales through internet or?
I'm gonna some markets, but I'm gonna start uploading them to my website as little subscription boxes.
And do you have like a physical store in mind, or are you gonna just start doing things on the internet?
On the internet. I think COVID taught us that brick and mortar versus just online is a little bit more profitable.
Have you thought about getting into the big chain supply grocery stores in the US?
I have been offered to get into HEB, but first I see a lot of coffee there and I'd rather get into smaller businesses where there's not as much coffee.
Okay.
On the shelves, yeah.
So you're gonna start your strategy slow.
Yes.
Very slow. Okay.
Not so much that it's slow, it's that if I can get into a place, like I've sold really well in places where there isn't any other coffee versus being one of 40 coffees.
Okay, so also you are, have you thought about expanding more into other states in the United States?
Yes, I'm working on that now.
Okay. Well, thank you. You can tell us more about La Chingona Coffee Company in the next events, please.
Thank you. Hope to.
Marta Martinez, can you please tell us more about the additional services that you offer? Because I know that you work with investors that are involved into auctions. You have these properties that are part of an auction and are at a really good price. So if you have like an investor that wants to or that has some capital available, they can invest in these properties. Tell us more about this kind of services that you will offer. Your microphone is muted.
Accesible, o puede ser hasta un local comercial, igual con el mismo opción de, o sea, puede ser un rancho, un lote o un local comercial a precio accesible por medio de los remates bancarios. ¿Es eso?
Thank you. So regarding the back section, she was mentioning that she has the ability of sell just not properties as houses. It's just a series of houses starting from 5 houses, apartments, or business places for different companies. That's what your question for?
Yeah, because I know that she has regular properties for sale, but then she has action properties, which are the subastas, the remates.
Yes, on the back sections, she has different, and she does not sell houses. She covers a very big range of different properties, as we were talking about ranchos, we were talking about houses starting from 5 houses, like just not one. If you want to go for something bigger, apartments, business properties, lands, that kind of properties. Like it's not just focused on one, she's focused on everything, and you can have through her the opportunity of have any of these properties at a less price, as we were seeing on the presentation, like 40% less than it costs, and it's a direct deal.
Otra cosa, son de contado y también se pueden hacer en copropiedad por distintos inversionistas.
Oh, so she's saying that it's in the one inversionist, you can have more than one inversionist and make like a crew of inversionists that want to invest in one property and have a bigger inversion.
Oh, okay. So besides having access to these cheap properties, because that's what a remate is, or an auction. What other services do you provide? You have a rentals? Do you have?
Okay.
Yes, we have service or rental in the picture or in the presentation. We show that we have sales, rental, transfers, mortgage, credits. So it's not focused on just selling. If you want a rental, if you want to transfer, if you're looking for something like that, or if you have a mortgage situation that you want to resolve, it's everything with us. So we actually cover a big range of these property situations.
Okay. Well, this is a very interesting event. If you guys have questions for each other, please is the time to say so. Please feel free to share that question. Otherwise, well, let me tell you that this is the first event that we are hosting here in Global Chamber Chapter Guanajuato. We're going to be having another event in Spanish because the Spanish population is becoming more interested in the business community here in Mexico and in Latin America. So we're going to be preparing some events in Spanish. We know that Hermosillo is growing a lot, and we also are growing on the south end of the country. Yucatan, we have some other states in mind, so we can expand our businesses, so we can start making connections in Mexico in Spanish. So please be tuned for that information. Right now, I'm gonna be closing the event. Please, we have an announcement that we have an event in Spanish tomorrow. Right now, we're going to share that link on the chat. feel free to copy and paste so you can save the link. LATAM Mira Planeta Tierra Innovación Verde. It's the event for tomorrow. You can find this information on the event page of Global Chamber. Please, I advise you everyone to go into the event page of Global Chamber and check out all the events that we have, because we have the schedule is full of events that might be of interest to you. If you want to participate in any of those events, as long as you are a member, you can do it at no cost. You can do it for free. Right now, after this event, please join the event in Texas. Please click on that link and join us for that information. Right now, I'm going to be giving thanks to everyone. Thank you, Rick Parada. Thank you, Paola Calderon. Thank you, Veronica Cardona. And thank you, Marta Martinez. We're going to be showing this event later on the page of the website of Global Chamber. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you in the next event.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you, Terry.